Good evening. Thank you so much for joining us. This is the main news on Camnet TV, coming to you live on Topstar, channel 106 and Kenstream app. We are also streaming live on Facebook, Camnet TV, as well as on our YouTube channel, Camnet TV. Here are the headlines in our news tonight. Lubinda brutalized, abducted in KABWE. Current energy investments insufficient to end load shedding, SEPE. Former PSSG declares Lubinda's Central Committee appointments illegal. In international news, schoolgirls abducted in Nigeria as terrified parents await news. And in sports news, MWEEMBA and MUNSHYA urge CHIPOLOPOLO boys to learn from Angola defeat. Do join me with the details shortly after this break.
Enjoy the benefits of an instant loan with us ranging from 1,000 kwacha to 750,000 kwacha paid express once collateral valued and verified. Call us on 0763 595 359 or 0779 432 993. Classified Financial Express, here as your financial friend.
With the news in detail, my name is Sylvia Zulu. Acting Patriotic Front President Given Lubinda has allegedly been abducted and brutalized in KABWE by suspected UPND cadres while addressing party officials. Mporokoso Member of Parliament and PIA presidential aspirant Brian Mundubile says Mr. Lubinda and those accompanying him were brutally attacked before being taken away by people whose details he says will be availed to the police soon. Mr. Mundubile has condemned the brutalization and abduction, calling it an unacceptable act in violation of fundamental rights, including freedom of association and freedom of speech. He has since urged Inspector General of Police Grafel Musamba to take urgent action to investigate the incident and hold the perpetrators accountable.
We have received some very disturbing reports from KABWE that Honorable Given Lubinda has been abducted. He's been brutalized by suspected UPND cadres who interrupted his meeting, the meeting that he was having with party officials, after which they severely brutalized Honorable Lubinda with all those that had accompanied him, and later abducted him and sped off in a pickup whose details were yet to avail to the police. The purpose of this address is to call upon the Inspector General of Police to immediately deploy officers to KABWE and was conducted at City Market. Today, we have our senior party officials beaten and abducted, things that we never saw before. I do not think any citizen can today recount or catalogue the events of abductions as we have them today. Today, abductions are the order of the day. There is no freedom of association, no freedom of speech. What wrong has Comrade Lubinda done? We all know that we are going for the general elections next year. As a Patriotic Front Party, we have our intra-party elections. We have been engaging our party officials to lobby for support for our intra-party elections in preparation for the general election. Yes. What wrong has Comrade Lubinda done by exercising its fundamental rights enshrined in our constitution? A right to associate, a right to assemble, a right to speak.
Meanwhile, Patriotic Front presidential aspirant Makebi Zulu has warned that if law enforcement agencies fail to address those involved in the alleged abduction of acting PF President Given Lubinda in KABWE, the party will pursue private prosecutions to bring the perpetrators to book. Mr. Zulu has accused the UPND of using political intimidation to suppress opposition voices, further describing the incident as an attack on democracy and human rights. He says the incident reflects a growing culture of lawlessness, warning that such acts cannot be tolerated if Zambia is to remain remain a democratic nation. He has further accused UPND supporters of being influenced by senior government figures who he claims have revived cadreism despite earlier promises to end political thuggery. Mr. Zulu has since condemned the act, describing it as a sign of escalating political intolerance under the UPND administration.
Allow us to exercise democracy. You may not want it for the country, but we want it for our party, and we'll continue exercising it. Therefore, keep to your lane of protecting every Zambian. No cadre or no person should be above the law. Those cadres that did what they did today must be brought to book. We are aware that they were sent. We are aware that they were paid. Any person who participated in that heinous act has to be brought to book. If that does not happen, we will take it upon ourselves to ensure that we prosecute privately all those that participated in this. If the government will not help us, we will help ourselves in legal ways of ensuring that justice prevails for our acting president. Justice prevails for every Zambian who is brutalized by the UPND. That is not the Zambia we want. That is not the Zambia we advocate for. We want peace. We want unity, we want respect for human rights and respect for each and every Zambian, that they have the freedom of association, freedom of assembly, freedom to express themselves. These are values that our forefathers fought for, and these are values that we protect as the patriotic.
And Minister of Home Affairs and Internal Security Jack Mwimbu says the Zambia Police Service will urgently investigate a viral video showing acting Patriotic Front President Given Lubinda allegedly being abducted in KABWE, where he was addressing party officials. Mr. Mwimbu has described the alleged actions in the video as serious crimes, including abduction, assault and coercion, which carry heavy penalties under Zambian law. Mr. Mwimbu has, however, assured the public that anyone found guilty will face the full force of the law. The minister has further confirmed he is in direct contact with the Inspector General of Police, who has prioritized the investigation as a top national concern. He has emphasized that the government is committed to ensuring the safety and security of every citizen.
Member of Parliament for KABWE constituency in what appears to be a situation of clear distress and apparent coercion. Let me be unambiguous. If this video is authentic, it depicts serious crimes that were committed at that particular scene. Let me state, let me state in the strongest terms possible that Zambia Police Service will investigate this matter with the utmost urgency. Anyone found to have broken the law will face the full force of the law. I'm in contact with the Inspector General of Police, who has assured me that this matter is being treated with the urgency it deserves. We must not and will not allow Zambia to return to the political violence we saw in the past. Let us stand united against violence in all forms. The era where political differences were settled through brutality is over. Anyone who thinks they can drag Zambia back to those dark days is very mistaken. As soon as we have confirmed information that can be shared without compromising the investigation or the safety of any individual, I'll provide further update.
Socialist Party President Fred Membe has also condemned the alleged abduction of Patriotic Front Acting President Given Lubinda, describing the incident as lawlessness and barbarism of the highest order. Dr. Membe says the conduct reflects a dangerous pattern of impunity that has increasingly characterized political confrontations in the country. He said the abduction was not an isolated incident, but a method that he believes is being perfected to intimidate opposition figures. Dr. Membe has since warned that such acts pose serious threats to individual safety and undermine democratic processes, stressing that political violence must never be normalized. Former Patriotic Front Secretary General Davis Mwila has declared the appointments of former Minister of Health Dr. Chipolopolo and Wapula MP Chanda Katotowe to the Central Committee by Acting President Given Lubinda as illegal. Mr. Mwila explained that any appointments to the Central Committee must first be approved by both the National Executive Committee and the Central Committee. He noted that failure to follow these procedures renders the appointments null and void. He further advised that with the party's general conference scheduled for Saturday, all aspiring candidates should step down from any positions and observe proper party protocols.
Our acting president, Honorable Given Lubinda, announced the two appointments of our members, Honorable Dr. Chipolopolo and the Honorable MP for Wapula constituency, Honorable Katotowe, to be on the Central Committee. Members of the party, you are aware that the party is going to the General Conference next week to elect a leader who will take us to the general elections. That I wish to state that that appointment is illegal in that the appointment of any member of the Central Committee, it has to go through the National Executive Committee as well as the Central Committee for ratification. And since all those stages were not followed, it is the abrogation of our own rules and the Constitution. So those appointments must be treated null and void. So we appeal to our national chairman, Honorable Pankata, to take charge, because the Constitution empowers him in between now and the General Conference. Because Honorable Pankata is the one who chairs the National Council as well as the General Conference. Please, can you take charge? And as we hold the Central Committee, we expect that on Saturday, 22, we expect that our national chairman will head or will chair the meeting, because we expect Honorable Lubinda, Honorable Mundubire, Honorable Dr. Chipolopolo, Honorable KABWE to relinquish their positions.
Energy policy analyst Leonard SEPE says Zambia's current investments in alternative sources of energy are still not enough to significantly reduce the country's dependence on hydropower. Speaking in an interview with Camnet News, Mr. SEPE notes that despite several government interventions aimed at addressing the ongoing energy crisis, citizens continue to face up to 3 hours of load shedding daily. He explains that Zambia is still dealing with the effects of the poor rainfall experienced during the 2023-2024 rainy season, which reduced water levels and affected electricity generation. He says while government efforts are visible, the investments made so far cannot immediately produce the results people are expecting.
The investment, we can say that so far it's not enough for the country alone to raise enough funds to ensure that it invests massively in the alternative sources of energy. Right now we can say it's not enough because this country is still experiencing load shedding, and at most the maximum number of power citizens are receiving is 3 hours. Now, quite alright, such kind of initiatives, they take quite a longer period of time for citizens to start enjoying the benefits of such investment, because these are the projects that take 6 to more than 1 year, for example, for the system or the infrastructure to set up so much that it even begins to give the much needed energy the citizens need. However, the government currently must begin thinking seriously about investing in the northern circuit, where we have a lot of water bodies, and even if we have poor rainfall in a particular year, that area we still have a lot of water. And for now, it's a call to the government currently to begin undertaking feasibility studies for possible setting up a similar infrastructure like the one that we have in Southern Province.
Community Action Against Corruption, CASC, has expressed concerns over the recently drafted Anti-Corruption Amendment Bill of 2025, warning that it may fail to reduce corruption in Zambia. The organization says the bill does not address the cultural and political efforts that have perpetuated corruption over the past 3 decades. CASC CEO Brighton Tembo says the bill focuses mainly on policy changes at the institutional level, dealing with the symptoms rather than the root causes of corruption. He argued that without tackling entrenched political and cultural drivers, the legislation would lack the necessary sharp edge to make a real impact. Mr. Tembo has further stated that the bill risks generating media attention, workshops and conferences without producing tangible results, and questioned the role of the Anti-Corruption Commission in the drafting process.
It is not going to create any meaningful impact in corruption fight. It is just going to end up like any other bills concerning corruption policy in Zambia, which have failed to address corruption in Zambia in the past 3 decades. As an organization, we feel the newly drafted Anti-Corruption Amendment Bill of 2025 is not going to change the complexion of corruption fight in Zambia or bring the scales of corruption to the levels where we can say it is under control, because the bill has not touched on critical factors which are the root causes of corruption in Zambia, like cultural factors as well as political factors, and to some extent also economic factors. Because any law which is enacted but it does not address the root causes of corruption, then that law is most likely going to address the symptoms of corruption. And we feel that bill definitely is going to attend to the symptoms of corruption without addressing the root causes of corruption. And that is not the right way to go in corruption fight. And we feel it is not going to create any meaningful impact in corruption fight. It is just going to end up like any other bills concerning corruption policy in Zambia, which have failed to address corruption in Zambia in the past 3 decades.
Rural Development has called on the international community to support Zambia's integrated development planning system to strengthen climate change adaptation at a local level. Local Government Permanent Secretary Dr. Gabriel Pollen, during COP30 in Belém, Brazil, said local authorities must be empowered to embed climate change mitigation and adaptation into their core planning, budgeting and service delivery processes. He noted that councils understand the unique risks in their areas, making them key players in developing accurate and relevant climate strategies. He explains that integrated development plans help local authorities move from standalone climate plans to long-term coordinated strategies for building resilient communities.
We're here in Belém, Brazil, where we are attending the COP30. And fundamentally, as the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development, we're here to showcase our capabilities and what we want to contribute to the global landscape and space regarding local authorities and what the local authorities can do within the context of climate change. So the conversation is wide, it encompasses a number of sectors, but ultimately it's about understanding the climate impacts on the way in which we live our lives. So as a Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development, we understand the role that local authorities play in building resilience that is required in different local areas across the country. We appreciate that through proper physical planning, we can set up living spaces that are conducive for human habitation, but are also resilient in the face of climate change. So the conversation is wide. It also encompasses issues around climate financing, but importantly, looking at ways in which we can learn from best practices across the world. So as the Minister of Local Government and Rural Development, we understand that local authorities must be well informed in terms of the conversation on climate change, and they must mainstream the different attributes of climate change discourse in the way in which they design their plans. So we know that local authorities have integrated development plans, and through those integrated development plans, the local authorities have identified the key trajectory in terms of infrastructure development that will relate to and reflect a resilient environment.
The Center for Trade Policy and Development, CTPD, has welcomed the Zambian government's initiative to develop a national charcoal transition strategy, calling it a timely step to address deforestation and align with the National Green Growth Strategy. The organization highlighted that Zambia loses an estimated 250 to 300 hectares of forest annually, driven largely by charcoal and firewood use. CTPD lead researcher, Land, Environment and Climate Change, Solomon Mwampikita, has emphasized that while charcoal provides energy for over 80% of households and income for rural families, the sector's unstable practices worsen climate change impacts, threaten agriculture, and undermine hydropower generation.
Welcomes the plans to develop the National Charcoal Transition Strategy. As an institution mandated to influence proper policies and decisions, we think this is timely and necessary policy action, which is crucial for aligning the country's development with the National Green Growth Strategy, as well as reversing the high rate of deforestation, which is currently estimated at 250 to 300 hectares being lost annually. As you may know, wood fuels such as charcoal and firewood remains the main cooking energy source for over 80% of the households in the country, and it is also the source of income for many families, especially in rural areas. But this heavy reliance is the single greatest driver of deforestation, which has resulted in rapidly depleting natural capital, as well as worsening the effects of climate change. We saw recently the drought situation, which affected the agricultural sector, as well as hydropower generation. And with that, while the intent is commendable, as an institution, CTPD stresses that the success of the strategy hinges on its ability to overcome some of the existing complex socio-economic realities, as well as structural challenges that drive charcoal production.
Lusaka City Council Public Relations Manager Chola Mwamba has warned residents against indiscriminate waste disposal in the Central Business District. She said the council, in collaboration with the Zambia Police Service, have launched enforcement operations to arrest and prosecute individuals violating waste management regulations. Ms. Mwamba said public health educators are conducting awareness campaigns to promote proper hygiene, safe waste disposal, and prevention of waterborne diseases such as cholera. She added that the council is also carrying out day and night cleaning exercises under the supervision of the Lusaka Town Clerk, Engineer Lefteri Ndaba.
The Lusaka City Council wishes to sternly warn individuals who continue to dispose of waste indiscriminately within the central business district. In response to the increasing cases of improper waste disposal, the Council, in collaboration with the Zambia Police Service, has launched enforcement operations to arrest and detain offenders in violation of waste management regulations. The Council's public health educators are also actively conducting awareness campaigns to educate residents on proper hygiene practices, appropriate waste disposal methods, and the prevention of the outbreak of waterborne diseases such as cholera. In addition, the Council is undertaking both day and night cleaning exercises across the city. To enhance waste management efforts, the Council has engaged 24 franchise contractors to service low-density areas such as Kablonga and Woodlands. Residents in these areas are urged to subscribe to authorized waste collection services. In high-density areas, the Council has empowered community-based enterprises, CBEs, to manage waste collection as part of the Council's inclusive, community-driven waste management strategy. The Lusaka City Council appeals to all residents to desist from indiscriminate disposal of waste and to support ongoing efforts to maintain a clean, healthy, and disease-free environment in Lusaka.
Governance expert and human rights advocate Wesley Mianda says President Hakainde Hichilema's leadership has turned Zambia into a center of attraction for the global community. Mr. Mianda says qualities such as transparency, accountability, and consensus-driven decision-making have helped strengthen the country's governance environment and boosted international confidence. He notes that while some sections of the opposition continue to focus on divisions and political attacks, the international community has remained attentive to the administration's efforts to maintain stability and restore credibility. According to Mr. Mianda, Zambia is currently enjoying a calm political climate and an improving economic outlook. Two factors, he says, are drawing high-level investors into the country.
President Hakainde Hichilema's credible leadership has really turned Zambia into the center of attraction to the global community. Good and unquestionable leadership is rightly defined as a combination of integrity, selflessness, courageous, respect, compassion, and resilience. A good leader always endeavors to pursue a responsible and legitimate way of conducting public affairs for the betterment and benefit of the led. This good leader strongly believes in principles such as consensus-oriented decision-making, transparency, and accountability. President Hakainde Hichilema has been that kind of leader, carrying such attributes, such qualities that have always gone unnoticed, especially by those in the opposition and the other negative-minded individuals who cannot understand and appreciate the relentless efforts being made by the current administration. Theirs is to do politics of insult, politics of tribalism, politics of name-calling, and downplaying whatever form of development that has taken shape from the time UPND came into power. However, the global community has remained with open eyes to see and recognize this unique leader.
Several villages in the Lui lower ward of Mongut district are facing a growing health threat due to a lack of access to safe and clean drinking water. Residents in at least 7 villages have been forced to rely on contaminated swamp water as the flooding plains continue to submerge their usual water sources. The situation has led to a rise in diarrhea cases, with community members expressing concern over the fast-spreading waterborne diseases. One of the affected residents, Kahundu Muhui, says the community depends on unsafe water sources used by both people and animals, especially during the rainy season. He is appealing to the local authority and well-wishers to urgently intervene and help provide safe drinking water.
Access to clean and safe drinking water still remains the most critical challenge for most people in Western Province. This is the only source of drinking water for residents of MWEEMBA village who rely on this water for their daily activities. This situation also affects about 6 more villages facing the same challenges in Yarui Lower Ward in Mungu district of Western Province. Residents are appealing to the local authority to prioritize sink water hand pumps for them to access safe, clean drinking water, citing the diarrhea cases posing health hazards.
Ntoe uzielize kwanu kwa silalanda sauna sabulo zise uzielizwe kimezi mezi alu zieza kakukula mwalimba mata mane kondi kuliba kwa zipatela apeli kuya kwa lipatela kwa hu yelu kupa 10 ba muso kuli mukone kulutusa luziele hile muchoko chomwa hae aluna kona kuli mezi olunwa kimezi yazwa mane pulain zenera vivuba fera chonge bikukulu kana fera mane bitosuluhera molunwa mezi yelu kupa 10 ba muso wana hazambia mulutuse.
Other residents echoed similar concerns, stating that the situation is similar to other villages.
Masauna yemifira wana chwalo so pula inera fa. Zemma sweza kafarizi kama tu pula inera bila mati. So mameza amasira uli banana kisoya kukula mama. Kuna maana yake bana anafia ni unaba ukafia.
Anga mezi amasira mwali linja ze paper za unaze zitapana mwali kwa molunwa. Mwabona likulube zezwa kafo kwa bulozi koze baza masa kwisa kwa Mungu kole kisa kwa muri tapa kwa mulunwa mabona kidamu elimu yewe no rukete kuli kona damu so nyakunwa mezi yakutolve yakapompifa kaina taterwa na mezi angana kwa tinisike ale aiza nilincha ze pepa
kukalana rusa matongo ipuluti na mayoka mane kutofeza kuna maembo walunwa mezi amasila chelo kupashangwe kona mwadamu mwalunwa moo kona makuta painja kona makuta paluna batu kona moko zengata nipa ya kubulela zolunwa shangwe lwashwa mulutuse.
The area council for the Yarui Lower Ward, Pomolona, acknowledged and says the submission to have water hand pumps installed in the area was done.
Taba michokocho kapa ya mezi mabulozi walona nikuna ni mizi yemimo kapa mizi yenoleze submit koma ofisi alona kuti ikone kulutuseza yona kuti ifumane michokocho siabasaka lodi sanyanda kono apenisa kupaweka tata kule musu ntuseze siabasaka senyemera kwa manane mezi bano mezi amasira mokupira limunano mokupira limpotwe likulube kama kizengata letu samezi abana wana siaba to nisa kupaholo tusoro ko musu waka kuti ntuseze siabasaka sizele hile.
Kelvin Biramsebo, Camnet News in Mungu District, Western Province.
You're watching the main news on Camnet TV. We now take a set of commercials. I will be back with some international stories as well as sports news. Keep watching.
Every Monday to Thursday afternoon, join us for the Lunchtime Cafe. We get to bring to you emerging stories making the headlines, media news, and we remind you of what political leaders and governance actors said back in the days. In Forgotten Stories, we emphasize to you the importance of eating healthy foods and leading healthy lifestyles on the Nutrition Corner. Get the latest updates in sports and critical interviews. Because we value your contribution to national matters, we accord you an opportunity to share your perspectives during the viewers' reactions. The Camnet TV Lunchtime Cafe is an all-inclusive buffet. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Are you looking for a reliable and efficient courier company with international standards? Then let UBZ Courier, your trusted partner in swift and secure deliveries, be your ultimate choice. Whether it's a small package or a hefty consignment, UBZ Courier handles it all, locally and internationally. Our modern call center ensures personalized attention for every client. For seamless deliveries within Zambia and beyond, trust UBZ Courier. Call us now on +260 763 062 680 or visit us at plot number 15 Mwapona Road, Woodlands, Lusaka, Zambia. UBZ Courier, a world-class brand that can be trusted.
Water is life. Each drop counts and each must be cherished. Our tried and tested product meets all international standards. With our smart drip technology, we aim to deliver precision irrigation designed to reduce blockage and wastage, ensuring a high yield. Rain Glow, your smart irrigation partner.
From time immemorial, we have had different types of lighting options, from those that can burn down our investments in minutes to those that dig holes in our pockets due to constant replacement and huge consumption of our ZESCO units. Savenda Electric introduces the new and advanced electric bulb with cutting-edge technology of LED that has low power consumption, gives out bright white light, and lasts up to 25,000 hours. Savenda Electric manufactures all types of LED light, like plastic LED fluorescent tubes, down lights, ceiling lights, outdoor fittings, and solar street lights made to customer specifications. Let's live on the bright side of life by choosing the wide range of Savenda electric lighting solutions that are available in all leading stores and supermarkets countrywide. For orders, call 0962 642 490 or email jnbunda@savenda.com or pchabula@savenda.com.
Thank you so much for staying with us. In international news, parents of the kidnapped schoolgirls in northwestern Nigeria are anxiously awaiting news following the abduction of 25 students during an early morning attack on a high school in Maga, Danku, Wasagu. Gunmen stormed the dormitories before dawn on Monday, killing a staff member and taking the girls away, leaving families in shock and despair. Aisha Sani, whose two daughters were taken, described waking up to the devastating news after hearing gunshots during the night. Another parent, Usman Muhammad, said the tragedy has eroded confidence in the safety of schools, warning that no child will return to class without improved security. School principal Haja Rabia Musa Madgaji assured distraught families and that authorities are fully engaged and committed to rescuing the girls. Here is a roundup of international news stories.
Parents of the kidnapped schoolgirls in Nigeria are still awaiting the news about the release of their children. Some are still in disbelief as the news about the kidnappings reached them on Monday. Gunmen attacked a high school in northwestern Nigeria before dawn on Monday, taking 25 schoolgirls and killing at least one staffer. Our two girls have been kidnapped. One was in SS3 and the other in SS2. The news came to us in the morning when we woke up and heard the story. We had heard a gunshot in the night, but we thought the shot was from the security. Unfortunately, they were not the ones. It was not until morning that we received the shocking news. Usman Muhammad, a parent who has two of his daughters in the school, believes that this incident will affect the education of children in the community if nothing is done to counter the insecurity. No child will go back to school if adequate security is not provided. The school will not function again because the parents are saying they will not take their children there anymore due to lack of security.
All those people that supposed to show concern, we are all here. So that gives us the assurance that our girls will be rescued. And they briefed the parents with this assurance. We are very much sure that very soon our students will be rescued.
Armed groups have targeted schoolgirls in the region since 2014 when Boko Haram abducted 276 students from Chibok in Borno State.
Eswatini has confirmed for the first time that it received more than $5 million from the United States in exchange for accepting third country deportees. The kingdom, led by absolute monarch King Mswati III, has come in for heavy criticism from rights groups for striking the deal with President Donald Trump's administration. Details of the agreement have not been disclosed, and the government is facing court action from human rights lawyers who claim the secretive deal is unconstitutional. Eswatini is one of several African nations that have agreed to receive deportees as part of Trump's aggressive crackdown on illegal immigration. Washington sent at least 15 people to the country so far, with the agreement reportedly providing for the arrival of up to 160. One of them has since been repatriated to Jamaica, his country of origin, while the rest are being held in jail. Lawyers and civil society groups in Eswatini have gone to court to challenge the legality of the detentions.
The United Nations Secretary-General has warned world leaders that terrorism in the Sahel is a growing global threat. Speaking to the UN Security Council on Tuesday, Antonio Guterres urged nations to work together and allow for coordinated action against terrorism.
We face the risk of a disastrous domino effect across the entire region. Many countries are reeling. And terrorism in the Sahel is not only a regional dramatic reality. Progressing links of its groups with other groups in Africa and beyond make it a growing global threat. And the Sahel accounts for 19% of global terrorist attacks and over half of global terrorism-related casualties. This violence and instability are unleashing massive suffering.
The recent decision by Burkina Faso, Mali and Niger to leave ECOWAS has created new challenges for regional cooperation.
Unfortunately, the situation in our region is characterized by mistrust and high level of suspicion among stakeholders. Therefore, I would like to call on members of this Council, and indeed the international community as a whole, to help us build trust. No amount of money, no amount of equipment will help us overcome terrorism if we don't collaborate and build synergy.
According to the Global Terrorism Index, the Sahel accounts for over half of all global terrorism deaths.
Zambia's High Commissioner to Angola, Ambassador Elias MUNSHYA, and Football Association of Zambia Vice President Keith MWEEMBA have encouraged the Chipolopolo players to stay focused and not to be discouraged by yesterday's loss to Angola. Ambassador MUNSHYA urged the national team players to maintain their focus ahead of the upcoming match against Morocco. He stressed that they should not let the recent defeat in the international friendly at the November 11th Stadium in Talantola, Angola, disheartened them. Meanwhile, Vice President Keith MWEEMBA emphasized the importance of teamwork and concentration among the players. He advised them to ignore the commentary on social media, pointing out that many football enthusiasts online may not understand the technical aspects of the game. Zambia will face Morocco at the Prince Maulu Abdallah Stadium on Monday, December 29th, 2029 at 17:30. This match is part of Group A in the Africa Cup of Nations qualifiers.
It was a very good game. You showed character, and we want to encourage you to say that life has got ups and downs and wins and losses. You're just getting ready for something bigger that is going to come in a few days. And so you shouldn't beat yourselves too much because of this loss here today. Therefore, you mwena musana, mama. That could say shari. Therefore, you mwena musana. If you mfiro kuchitapa nomba, you work together, you continue trusting in God, and we believe that ukumleo Morocco tukaya bafyo kwetu. Be assured kwewati umuteko is behind you. And all the Zambians in all the 10 provinces of Zambia, in all the cities, KABWE, they are all behind you. So walk with your heads high, and you're going to bounce back from this temporary setback. And we are going to be watching you in Morocco. My friends are there to receive you, and all the best to you.
This is a performance where one cannot be disappointed. I think, well done, boys. We are proud of you. Close your eyes and your ears to social media. People always talk, everybody on social media is a coach. Everybody is an expert. Everybody is an administrator. Everybody is a qualified manager. Everybody is, he knows about tactics. But football is played on the field of play, and we are not very disappointed. The traveling was not the best, I think, as we talked about last time. But I think what is important, we're here, and let's regroup, go back, recharge the batteries. The team will be okay, and this team will perform at the AFCON. I have no doubt about that.
That's it for our main news tonight. Here is a recap of the stories making headlines. Lubinda brutalized, abducted in KABWE. Current energy investments insufficient to end load shedding, SEPE. Former PFSG declares Lubinda's Central Committee appointments illegal. In international news, schoolgirls abducted in Nigeria as terrified parents await news. And in sports news, MWEEMBA and MUNSHYA, CHIPOLOPOLO boys to learn from Angola defeat. We now look at the Camnet verse for the day, coming from the book of Ephesians 4, verse 6. One God and Father of all, who is above all and through all and in you all. That's it for tonight. Thank you so much for watching. Remember, you have been catching us live on Topstar, channel 106 and Kenstream app. We are all live on Facebook, Camnet TV, as well as on our YouTube channel, Camnet TV. My name is Sylvia Zulu. Thank you so much for watching. Good night and God bless you all.